Have you ever wondered if it's possible to see the world as it really is, without all the filters of our own thoughts and opinions? Well, there's an incredible ancient text, the Yoga Charabhumi Shastra, that gives us a detailed roadmap for doing just that. Today, we're going to dive into its guide for direct seeing, and we'll focus on three pillars that make the whole journey possible: faith, moral conduct, and wisdom. Let's get into it.
Okay, so here's our map for today. First, we're going to get a clear picture of the destination, what this wisdom of direct seeing is all about. Then we'll walk through the 6 main stages of the journey. We're going to pay a lot of attention to faith and precepts because they're the unshakable foundation you have to build before you can even begin to use the powerful tool of wisdom. And finally, we'll get a glimpse of the incredible transformation that's waiting at the very end of this path. So, what is the ultimate point of all this? What's the goal? It's not about cramming your head with more facts or beliefs. It's about cultivating a totally new way of knowing, a kind of wisdom that lets you see reality directly, unfiltered, just as it is. And that, of course, leads us to the big question, one that people have been asking for thousands of years. How do we get past all the theories and all the books and actually directly experience the true nature of things for ourselves? The text gives us a single, really powerful word for this, abhisamaya, which we can translate as direct realization. And the key here is what it isn't. This is not about thinking your way to the truth. You know, it's like the difference between reading a book about what honey is and actually tasting it. Abhisamaya is the tasting. It's a wisdom that gets the truth firsthand with no middleman, no filter of concepts. And you know, what's so great about this text is that it's not just a bunch of high-minded philosophy. It's a practical, step-by-step manual. It lays out 6 clear, distinct stages of this abhisama. It's a progressive path that you can actually follow. And you can see the whole progression laid out here. It starts with contemplation, sure, but look at what comes next. Faith and precepts, our ethical conduct. These are not optional side quests. They are the absolute essential foundation that you have to build before those deeper levels of wisdom can even begin to surface, which then lead all the way to final realization. So for our purposes, we're really going to focus on why that foundation is so incredibly important.
So where does a journey this profound actually begin? Well, it doesn't start with complex intellectual ideas. It starts with faith. And you know, we're not talking about blind belief here. The text describes it more like a deep, gut-level confidence in the path. It's the reliable compass that sets your direction right from the very beginning. The text puts it so beautifully. It calls it a pure faith that's directed toward the 3 jewels: the Buddha as the example of what's possible, the Dharma, which is the teaching or the map itself, and the Sangha, the community of people on the same path. It's basically a complete trust in the guide, the map, and your fellow travelers. So what does this actually look like in real life? The text is super specific. The sign that you're in this stage is that you stop getting distracted. You no longer call anyone else a true master or any other teaching the right path. And what this does for you is create this unshakable conviction, this deep certainty that just keeps you pointed in the right direction, no matter what happens. Okay, so once your direction is set with that solid faith, you need a stable path to actually walk on. And that is where precepts come in. This whole stage is about purifying our conduct, basically cleaning up the actions of our body and our speech. The core of this stage is described as conduct of body and speech beloved by the noble ones. Now, this isn't about just gritting your teeth and following a bunch of rules. It's about developing an inner state where your actions just naturally, almost effortlessly align with what is wholesome and pure. And this really shows the depth of that inner shift. The mark of mastering this stage is that you're literally no longer capable of intentionally harming or stealing or lying. It's not that you're resisting the urge to do these things. The urge itself has vanished. And the direct result of that purity? Freedom from the suffering that those actions always create. So you can start to see the clear logic building here, right? Faith gives you the direction, your North Star, the why. Precepts give you the stable, safe road to travel on, the how. They aren't separate goals in themselves. They are the essential groundwork that prepares the mind for true wisdom to finally show up. And it's precisely this foundation, a clear direction from faith and a stable, calm mind from pure conduct that turns your mind into a powerful instrument, ready to wield the sharp tool of wisdom. In fact, all those later stages of abhisamaya that we saw on our map, things like wisdom of truth and wisdom at the edge of truth, they're all at their core just describing deeper and more penetrating levels of this very same wisdom.
So, what does a life guided by this kind of wisdom actually feel like? Well, the text gives us some really clear signs. First, you just stop acting based on distorted views. Your internal compass is now true. Second, you have zero doubt about what you've realized for yourself. It's a certainty that comes from direct experience, not from a book. And maybe the most profound of all, you don't feel any fear when you come face to face with life's biggest unanswerable questions. It's a state of incredible confidence and freedom. So, when you follow this map of faith, precepts, and wisdom, it all leads to a fundamental shift in your entire way of being. Let's take a look at the final destination, the ultimate transformation of the practitioner. This is what's called final realization. It's the end of the journey. And its function is stated so simply but so powerfully. It is liberation from all the great suffering of birth and death. It's the end of the struggle.
I think this slide just makes a transformation so tangible. Just look at the before state. You're relying on wrong ideas, you're constantly doubting your own insights. And now look at the after. A fearless stability even when facing the unknown. And ultimately, freedom from that deep, gnawing suffering of just being human. It's a total 180-degree shift in how you experience your own reality. So what we have here is this timeless map from an ancient text. Faith to act as our compass, precepts to be our path, and wisdom as our sight. It's a complete system for transformation. And the final question really isn't just for people long ago, it's for us right now. Faith, precepts, wisdom. Where does your journey begin?